they do? They say, we can work out a sequence of events. We can, however, foresee that some things will be happening sooner than other events, and then as those things begin to occur, some credibility will be assigned to the probability of this happening. So, okay, what is the sequence which they have first identified? One, Ed Dames and his friends have said there will be a fungal infection in agriculture. That this fungus will begin to occur in all the crops, beginning in Africa, going to Europe, and then eventually to the United States and South America. That does indeed appear to be important, because we have 6.5 billion people to feed, and if our crops are being destroyed in this fashion, that would be really pretty important, would it not? There would be a war. The next event a war between Iran and Israel. Now you say, oh, well, that's pretty probable. That now seems to be maybe even probable. But, you know, it doesn't have to happen. Let's just remember that. On the other hand, Iran and Israel are looking pretty unhappy with each other, and you have to consider all of the other possible players. Syria, Turkey, and so forth, Egypt, Libya. I don't know how many of these do you want to go through before you can say, you know, it is no longer a probability of 20%. Maybe I'll give it 50%. Maybe I'll believe that is at some point just about nearly inevitable that something like that will occur. Maybe I believe that in the course of doing this, if there is indeed an argument between a war between Iran and Israel, out of that, the thinking is, these people have said, give it a little time. By the time we adjust to the idea that we have to get our troops over there to defend Israel, by the time we reorient all our marvelous war forces, by that time the Chinese will have convinced the North Koreans to initiate the threat of nuclear war. By what? By hitting us with one of their, threatening to hit us with one of their weapons, which they seem to be practicing with nearly every day now. So, but when you see these things happen, this has happened already. When you see this is not got a check mark around it, it has not happened yet. When you see the events in with North Korea, then there is eventually, at that point, they say you should leave town, because then solar flares, the maximum event, will be on its way. And remember that when the solar flares begin to occur, you have 8 minutes in which to find out. That is the time it takes for at the speed of light, for light to come down to the earth and tell us that we are about to have an awful time of it. And that within 1 to 2 days, the photons, which will follow and do the greatest damage, will have landed on the earth, and every part of the earth will be scorched by this event. Now, what do you suppose happens after this? Well, it takes years to recover. The electromagnetic grid that connects all our computers and phones and electricity and eventually water supply, so forth, is all destroyed and needs to be rebuilt. That will take a long time, and so this becomes a great catastrophe. Well, is there any other clue to this? I mean, is there anything in between? How about if I don't think 8 minutes are enough? Well, there is a possibility, they said, there is a spaceship foreseen. A spaceship will be forced down. I don't know why or what reason. And then you have perhaps 1 or 2 days in which to see that happen and to react to it. So what is it? We're looking, what is the probability of a fungal infection in agriculture? Well, at some level and at some difficulty, it is already appearing. What's the probability of Iran and Israel having a big going to war? Well, that's not so far off. What's the probability of North Korea continuing to act like an irresponsible state, and then the solar flares to follow? Okay, well, that's about the end of this particular session today. I hope that you enjoyed it. We'll come back and listen to us again on the next segment. In the meantime, love your God, love your neighbor, and stay close to Mother Earth.